We're glad you're watching Morning Express on this 29th day of November. And as you've seen laid out here, we're having a wedding in studio. Yes, I'll be changing later on to my gown, and Mr. Man will come, we'll walk down our studio aisle, and I'll get to do the vows. Anyway, we're talking about wedding planning this morning. Very many weddings, especially here in Kenya. We see them happening over the weekend, Saturdays especially. And a lot of work goes into making a wedding a success, making it happen. And so I'm joined by two lovely ladies, Diana Nekesa, Managing Director at Galena International. Thank you for joining us. And also Carol Odande, who's a member of Galena International as well. So first begin by telling us about Galena International and in far as wedding planning is concerned and how that works.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Galena International is an events and media company that deals basically with events planning, any kind of event from birthdays to weddings to social parties and corporate events. So we started with weddings. That's why we have a passion strongly for weddings, because you know, for weddings it has different challenges every single time. So it makes it fun to work on, you know. Then every couple has their own personality, so you have to be very creative all the time, be on your feet, you know, so that you can come up with very good themes, very interesting styles. And basically that's what Galena does.
Okay, so take us through this setup, Carol. What we have here, what theme is this in terms of the arrangement, the table settings, everything we have? And I love the apples. At one point I think I'm just gonna bite into mine. So take us through this setup.
Okay, this setup is an intimate setup. Sometimes couples just want a small function. They just have a small reception. And like my colleague said, that the various events that we do, it depends on the personality, it depends on the theme. So if you require just an intimate theme, both day or evening, you can see the candles and the floral arrangement. Just for few and small family members, you can have this setup. But also we can do the large setup. If you have the large family, the 500 plus, but the 50 and the small groups, you can just have a small intimate setup, either outdoor or indoor. And you can see it's depending on the color that we select, just to bring in life. And I think in our way of setting up is to bring sparkle conversation on the tables.
And this is very bright. We have orange, we have red going on, some yellow as well. So as much as there is also an element of black, at the end of the day, a lot of this just bringing in the brightness on the table. So a big part of just this setup, I'll come to you now, Diana, goes to sitting down when you're beginning the planning of a wedding. As a wedding planner, you sit with a couple. What are some of the things you take them through that are key at the planning stage of a wedding?
Okay, basically a wedding comprises of various factors. One definitely is the personality, as I said before. What's the couple's personality? What is it that they like doing? What is it that they do in terms of their hobbies? Then there's also the style and theme. Like, you know, for different seasons, we have different themes. Like right now, it's very cold in Nairobi. So if you look at what we've set up today, it's a bit warm, you know, with the candles and the warm colors. So it depends as well with the season of the year. Then again, it also depends on the budget. Like, what's your budget as a couple? You know, nowadays we have people who actually spend a lot, you know, hefty budgets, like we're talking about millions of money. Then we also have, you know, couples who have a small budget, but we can still do something very interesting and something very nice for them. So various factors actually affect the wedding planning.
Okay. And I want us to continue with those factors, because for somebody who's watching right now and you know, they've just been proposed to, or they're in a relationship, and you know, us girls, most at least, will dream of their wedding day. And it's important that early on that picture is clearly painted in as far as what goes in is concerned. So the first thing that you think and feel is priority when one is planning a wedding, what is it? So you've gotten engaged and now there's a wedding coming up. What is that first thing? Is it the money, how much you have in terms of you're ready and willing to spend, or is it questions of the venue and all that? What is the first thing that needs to at least be cleared and be out of the way?
Okay. For the many years that we've been doing wedding planning, For me, the first thing is always to source for a venue.
Okay.
Yeah, and once you have known that the venue, because the venue will help you do the cards, the invites, the venue will also help you conceptualize what kind of a wedding. For example, if I have, I already know that I am wedding in February next year, where am I going to do it? Then I from there I look at what will be the weather, what will it be like. So when I have the venue, then I can do my both plan A and plan B. Yeah, because I know if it's raining in February, then I need an indoor.
Okay. So you'll think about the venue before the money? Because even the venue will have to be paid for, and some we know are very expensive. So the first thing, venue, you'd say?
I will look at it from that point, because I want to see, am I having it outside of town? Or is it something that is in? Then the money will come. Yeah,
will be planned.
Because already when I'm planning for the wedding, I already have some small budget idea that I want a medium size, I want a small function, or I want a large family function.
Yeah.
And money will always, once you have already planned and you've set it out, then you'll have money will always.
Okay, let's discuss a little bit more about the venue. And in as far as some people, it always seems like they're caught off guard with some of this nature changing. The weather, of course, you know, nature having its way. It starts raining. All of a sudden, it's helter-skelter. Everybody trying to figure out, okay, so what do we do, you know? Do you take the people, when they're planning their weddings, do you take them through the different scenarios that could emerge, that even as much as it may be a hot season, there is that craziness that happens one day off, just decides to rain, to pour, or it's very cold. So what kind of discussions do you have around venues?
The work of a wedding planner definitely is to provide solutions.
Yeah.
So when we have a wedding and we have a couple, we always have a plan A, B, sometimes C and D, you know.
Okay.
So like now, if for this season, we always advise our clients that they need to have their weddings indoor. Even if they're having it outdoor, let them have, you know, tentage, or let them have a bit of covering for their guests so that it doesn't rain on them. Because we understand the seasons very well. Then again, we also work with the meteorological department to find out, like, is it rainy on this specific day? Those are things that the nitty-gritties that us as wedding planners, you know, go ahead and find out, you know, for the clients. Then again, as Carol said about the budget, we as wedding planners work with your budget. We make sure that whatever budget you have, whether small or big, we will make sure that your wedding fits to your budget.
Yeah.
So that's our
So you put
work.
that into consideration a great deal.
Yeah, because we also are like negotiators. We know we've worked in the industry, we know service providers. So whenever you take repeat business to service providers, they're able to give you good rates, you know, because you already have a good relation with them. So that is part of what we do.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about the money, because I know for some they'd want this amazing wedding and they always have hope they'll be able to raise the money. You know, the committees that are set up, and sometimes they fall short. So we'll talk a bit more about that. But with the venues, and we're talking about now destination weddings, those who, for example, they live here and want to have a wedding in Mombasa. How do you then, because then a lot of that will be long distance, it will be you perhaps mostly in Mombasa or wherever it is doing all the groundwork, and they're behind here hoping and having faith that everything is being put together. What are some of the experiences and what words of advice do you have for those especially who are thinking of destination, having a wedding away from where would be their normal location?
Okay, from the start of the show, we said me as a member of the GR Club, we are various members and they're in every county.
Okay.
And recently we were in Mombasa and Kisumu. The people who belong to the GR Club, they're service providers. So from the start of it, when a bride or a groom walks in to us, we already know if they have a Kisumu wedding, we have a contact there. And we have a list. As a professional in the field, we have built a database of every service provider in Kisumu, the venues, we have their contacts. We would quickly source that and ensure that, because at the end of the day, it's the service that we offer that will bring another person. So we have to ensure that each to the detail, the person in Mombasa, the person in Kisumu, in Eldoret now, and we have every, and in Nyeri. So they all have, they've also had a list of vetted vendors in those areas. So when we go either from Nairobi or from those locations, we already have people. And those vendors meet the standards of Galena, and we ensure that it's done.
Okay.
Destination weddings, let me just get back to back.
Yes.
They're a bit tricky because maybe a bride or a groom are not in the are not around. So the pressures are quite high. You have to keep communicating.
Phone calls, emails, texts.
Yeah, because for them to be sure that is the destination okay?
Yeah.
Where I'm going is okay? Is the hotel booked? Are they reserved? All the fine details of the wedding. So the key thing about destination wedding is to keep the channels of communication both with the teams and with the vendors in those areas very open.
Okay.
Because you can come in and get a surprise.
Yes. And speaking of getting a surprise, because they're very fussy people, and so imagine in such a situation where a couple, a bride wants certain things put together, and there's miscommunication when they say red, and red translates to somebody else or something in part of the planning. How does that then pan out in terms of just making sure as a wedding planner you replicate and you put together the vision of the bride and the groom, what they really want exactly, without having those gray areas that could be disastrous? Wedding day they come and they're like, no, this is not what I wanted. And if it's a bridezilla, she'll be like, I'm not walking down that aisle. I'm not going down.
Okay, we have something called concept design.
Okay.
Like when we're walking to Galena, that's the first thing we do. We sit down with you, have our first meeting, which we call it the concept design meeting, whereby we get to hear your style. Then we come up with 3 different themes for you, 3 different themes with the colors. We come with swatches, we will come with different fabrics, we'll come with photos that you've had from previous weddings. We will even go online and research on that, so that by the time you come, we give you full details of what you're offering for what theme. So basically, what happens is you as a client you can also bring your own probably photos, or is it a wedding cake you saw somewhere, or is it a dress that you saw somewhere, so that we're able to get your exact colors. Then something else that we actually do is we do sampling before the wedding. So sampling of the cake, sampling of the food. We have to go try the dress.
So there will not be a disastrous situation on the D-Day?
No, because you'll actually know what you're getting into before even the day. You'll have tasted your food, so you're sure that this is what I'm getting. You'll have tasted your cake, you'll have seen your dresses. That is something that it goes haywire at times, whereby you see brides going to pick their dresses on a Friday and you have a wedding on Saturday morning. So it's either a different color, or it's not their sizes, or it was done badly. So those are some of the things that we try and regularize, so that we're sure that now the couple has gotten what they really wanted. As you said, satisfaction for us is everything.
Okay, so we've talked a bit about the destinations and the venue, but also very important is when you're talking about weddings, the time, because as you said, there are people who will get engaged today and they want to get done with this. They're so excited, 1 month, others it will be 2 years. So as a planner, as a professional, what kind of advice, or do you always also have to work with the time guidelines and you're given in terms of we have 1 month, so it's you squeeze yourself in that 1 month? Or do you sometimes recommend advice, okay, with the kind of wedding you want, its nature, how big it is, we might need this much time? How does that work in terms of the time?
Okay, I know time is also a key factor in any wedding, and it's important that the weddings are not rushed. I think also from a point of view, anything that is that weighty must be planned. But sometimes we've had people who say, I'm wedding next month. So that means you really have a crash program, and also that is where we also come and get time with the couple and tell them also to be flexible. Because if you come, for example, in December, somebody comes and most of the venues are booked. If you strictly said, I want the Stedmark Gardens, it is fully booked. So the bride and the groom must be flexible at that time. But we encourage that there is given some time for planning, both for the couples, so the pressures are not so much on them.
Approximately how much time do you usually would want?
3 months?
At least
3 months. That gives everybody time to plan and conceptualize, because you need to have a back and forth. Review with me what I have thought about, review with me how I'm thinking, and also get the point. But if it is 1 month, you go to the strict timelines. We are going to see the vendors this, we are meeting the media, we are going to do the licensing. You have to go and get your marriage license, and that needs time.
Okay.
So if it is on a strict 1 month, you all move on such adrenaline. Yeah.
So your advice is before even the couple decides on the day of the wedding,
Yes.
if they're going to have a planner, to sit with the planner first, to just weigh, you know, what best date would work in terms of making sure everything is ready.
Yeah. And also depending on the dynamics, or if somebody's traveling, we've had clients who've said, I'm going back on studies in February, so I want this thing done. So you also work with them so that you fit into the times, that the schedules that they have. Somebody cannot say, I'm wedding on Saturday and on Monday I have my flight to another place. So you also want to ensure that you give them time to do all this and catch their flights. So it's good to sit, and also when somebody says, I have 3 months, what can we do in 2 months? Because the other months should be in for them also to adjust to the many changes.
All right.
But time is very key.
Time is of the essence. We've talked about the venue. What are the other, if we're going to look at a checklist now, I want us to go through what you have mostly. I assume you have a checklist that you take the clients through. So after venue, what else is key on that list?
Okay, we have like 26 to 49 items like on the checklist.
How many?
26 to 49, depending on what
26 to 49, that's quite a number. So we'll go through the key ones. So venue, what's the other key?
There's definitely the attires, so the gown, the suits, and you know, the bridesmaids' dresses, the men's suits. Then we have photography, we have catering, we have food, we have cake, we have
cake stands in itself. So there's cake, the vehicles, movement from one place, transportation.
Sure. Then there's washrooms now, because we have a lot of outdoor weddings. So you find that most garden venues don't have washrooms. So we have portable washrooms, we have decor and flowers. We have, what else, Carol?
Then we have the officiant.
We have the officiant,
who is going to be joining these people.
The what?
Official.
Like a priest or a pastor. Or sometimes they are the weddings which are done at the AG chambers. You must book somebody who is going to. You know, you can come and sit here. Who is going to join you?
In marriage, they've done everything else. You're like,
where are the rings?
Wow, and those are the small things. Have you had such incidences where people go like,
we forgot on Friday.
Who had the rings? So that happens.
So it's important to have that, and like she says, there are 26 to almost 50.
So there's now a number of things.
Under the rings, in hair, you know.
For example, you come
makeup,
under
jewelry.
Okay. So I think, of course, one of the very important ones, it comes to attire. The bride's dress. I mean, that's a big one. They'd always want to get the one that everybody will be like, wow, you know, when they see her walk down the aisle. But what usually do you advise couples when it comes to what their party, the bridal party, will wear? Because some are very dictatorial, the bridezillas. They say, okay, now my style, I like, you know, sleeveless, nobody is going to wear anything that's, you know, and they put that out there, that's what's going to happen for everybody. And then there are those who will say this is the color and the fabric, but you can, you know, have it designed in what works for your body, because people have different body sizes. So what kind of conversations around now the attires and what everybody will wear from the bride to the groom and the party is concerned?
As we said, we have a very reputable club that has members who are professional, and they provide, you know, this advice to our clients. So when it comes to the brides, we have definitely a meeting with a service provider who's providing the gowns, and they'll basically advise the couples, I mean the lady, on what to wear depending on their size. You know, we have totally different designs when it comes to the dresses. We have a sheath, we have an empire dress, we have an A-line dress, you know, you have something that is very fitting, you know, a mermaid. So it depends to the body. Like personally, I will not go for a bustier because I don't have big bust, you know. Then again, you find that we have brides who have like really, they have a very big bust, and they still insist on wearing a neckline that is very low, you know. So it looks a bit, you know,
disastrous. And I've seen one of those really bad situations where she threw the flowers and, you know,
goodness.
So that's crazy.
And also I think something is culture. We did a wedding in Mombasa,
culture.
and you cannot really expose. So the bride, we had some friends who came from Nairobi. But when it reached there, the evening they said, you have to put something up.
Okay.
Yeah, because again, we have to respect culture.
Sure.
Yeah, and like the personality, somebody will say, me, I can only wear the short ones. Some people can wear just the long ones. But it's important to do the culture. Ensure that you know that the people who will come will be comfortable to see you on. Yeah, we'll have everybody who will be coming there will be comfortable.
Yeah.
And secondly, I think again also on the weather, because if you know your wedding during the cold season, are you able to? You can come in with an open dress, but later on it gets very cold. You'll be very uncomfortable. You can ensure that you have a sash, or you have something that you can cover yourself so that you're very comfortable. Because again, if it gets very cold in July and you're now you're holding yourself, then you're looking very uncomfortable. Yet for the wedding day, should be fun and should be very enjoyable. So when what we advise the brides and their team, that kindly also look at your wedding time and wedding month
and culture
theme as well,
and personality.
Because now if you have a vintage wedding, then go for a retro look, look all vintage. If you're having a very whimsical wedding or a very formal wedding, then dress your part, So we also look at things like theme. Then again, we have time. We are in the modern century. We are adorning colors, I keep on telling people, I'm going to wear a black gown, and they're like, Tana, are you crazy? But we're embracing colors, Right now we're seeing a lot of weddings in red and pink. I met another couple who had done the wedding in Leso, and she looked really good in purple Leso. Then just a very nice, veil. It looked really nice. So we also look at what is the personality of the couple. What does the bride really want? We don't necessarily have to wear white. There's something behind white. But come on.
So there's a lot of conversations and advice that go around the dress. And of course, also we've seen some churches very fussy. They need a woman covered if you choose, one of those sleeveless kind of dresses. So dress, big one, and also just to also involve the people in the party. We talked about the wedding dress, but the ladies, the gents,
the children.
Line up the children. There's also something very comfortable for the bride just before you finish on the bride's dress. In terms of because there's a lot of movement, there's dancing, and there are always people around the bride. So if you have this very long train and there are people stepping on it and you're being pulled, jacked back, so this that has to be.
Though nowadays we find that we have the detachable ones. So during the ceremony you have your train, then during the reception you just remove it. So you're able to dance.
And that goes hand in hand with the shoes. You have seen people trip. A bride is falling because. So I think also we also need to take care. You can have comfortable shoes during the reception because a lot of dancing. But in church you can wear those because it's only you walking on the aisle. You can have your beautiful high heel shoes. But during the dancing at the reception, it can be very tricky, and you see people falling and tripping.
Food is a big one. People have come, they're gonna get hungry at some point. They want to eat. And unfortunately, there are incidences of food running out. After the first few, and then also it gets very, irritating even for your guests. If the queues are from here to Timbuktu, you line up, and you get there, there's just somebody who's packing everything they feel, there's no even option of this is what I want, or this is what I don't want, this is the amount. So also on that, I think it's something that needs to be taken a little bit more seriously, because these are your guests, these are people you value enough to want to be part of your big day. So in terms of keeping them well fed, that's a big one as well, right? I think the first discussion is when we in the GR club, you have caterers, vetted caterers, and since we sit together and design this wedding, we have to get a meeting with all the vendors before the wedding and ensure that we know what is going to happen. And once the menu has been selected, I think the best advice to the bride or the bride and the groom, ensure you know your numbers, because most of the time the food is for 300, but people have come 600. Especially in Africa.
If you know that your guests are going to be many, discuss that with your planner and also with the caterer, that I'm expecting 400 people, but I can be sure there will be more. So can you come with extra? either at a little small charge, or the caterer can say, I can give you an extra plate or an extra place to serve your guests. Then secondly, I think also just to ensure that people are not queuing. I think we also have weddings where, like you said, up to you're lining
up so long.
But we can, what in our planning, we sit and say, these people are 500. Can we have 4 serving points? Or can we have 3 serving points?
Or even menus sent with the stationery, so that, you know, couples, I mean, the guest can actually tick to what they want to eat, even 2 weeks before the event, and then just RSVP the menu cards, so that now there's prior arrangement of the same. Then something that I want to add on that is when it comes to couples being very open and transparent. We find due to the budget reasons, most of the couples don't really give you like full information, because they feel like, you know, if I say 500 people, it's going to be more money for me. So they'll tell you, I want like 300 guests. Then when people come in, you know, you as a wedding planner also gets really frustrated, whereby, you know, you have to feed 500 people and you only had food for 300. You know, that I've seen it happen, whereby couples don't usually give you the full information, because they actually think
save on costs.
And then again, they think now that us wedding planners get paid from the budget, they will always reduce it so that it's very small, so that, you know, we don't take like much of their money. But we always tell them, let's be transparent to each other, because when the wedding falls or fails, then it comes back to us.
And that they also just need to remember these are their friends or their guests, their family, to value them enough to want to make them happy on that day. Are we still seeing very many weddings on Saturdays? The day's been chosen, preferred by couples for weddings. I remember, you know, years back, Saturday was the day. That is when everybody wants to have their wedding. But are we having diversification in terms of going for the Mondays, the Tuesdays, different days?
We have a lot of weddings. One is because of convenience, and 2, so some of them because of their religion, because we have Sunday, Friday. But we are having a lot of people wedding on Wednesday, like December. It is from Monday to Sunday. You're finding people saying, okay, I want to wed, and since there are also a bit of holidays, because people are now also selecting holidays. If 10th happens to be on a Wednesday, there's a wedding going on. And if it's Sunday, some of them, the Sunday and Friday are becoming. Saturday still is a preferred time, but we're also seeing people coming throughout the week. And people who are having the AG wedding at the AG chambers can be any day. Then they have the reception in the evening. But we're seeing from Wednesday to Sunday is becoming
And usually, will you be involved even with the after party, the evening party as well, as you're talking about the wedding? Will they usually engage services of wedding planners, or do we see most of them just deciding, for that one, we'll handle it?
Actually, we have a lot of pre-planning and post-planning as well, whereby we find couples engaging you into the dowry events, bridal shower, then the stag party, then again the evening party, then so they involve us in various things when it comes to planning, because I guess nowadays there's the time is a factor. If people don't have time at all, then again when it comes to this hassle, you just want to have your wedding when you're stress relieved. So they always give us these things. We even plan to the honeymoons. We plan their honeymoons.
Change of
we make
names.
sure.
Even
change of names.
Okay. All right. I want us to take a short break. We'll continue with just final closing statements on this conversation, because very important. There is so much, as you said, even on your list. You have quite a list you go through with the couples when they come to seek this advice, because there's so much that goes into weddings. But we thought a very important conversation to have, even as we go to December. So there are more weddings in December. People want to end the year married. We are all about wedding talk this morning. We've been talking a little bit about what, if you're planning a wedding, what you keep in mind, and just some of those challenges we see couples facing, and some of the ways to iron out such issues. I'm joined by two wedding planners from Galena International, Diana and Carol, taking us through the conversation and some of those key pointers we need to keep in mind. And we are seated at what would be an example of a perfect setup. Cold weather, you need some bright colors, lest you have some gloomy colors and everybody's just thinking, okay, what time are we going home? Before we wind up, we have just a few more minutes to go for this discussion. But very important part of weddings, especially here, and I think all over the world, is gifts. the way in which people appreciate you on your big day, and their way of saying, okay, this is how to remember and celebrate your occasion, which I was part of. We see more and more people moving the registry way. Of course, days long ago, there was nothing like I just come with everything, and you'd find you have like 50 different glasses, cups, spoons, you know. But now the couple, in a way, has a say in what they get in having those registries. Are we seeing more couples accepting and taking this as a good route in terms of gifts?
Most definitely. I think couples are bored of getting like 5 sets of thermos and the Latin limes, so we have a lot of couples embracing that. Then again, we also have the digital era, which is supporting the same, whereby we not only do couples just walk in a supermarket or walk into people who offer gift registry and actually pick the gifts, but they also have they can do it online, whereby they can go to a gift registry shop online, pick whatever they want, have it on the list, and just by a click of button, when you go to these shops, you're able to get that, for them. So we have a lot of couples who are embracing the same, whereby now we find that they pick what they will need, It's a matter of what is important or what is a priority for me in my house. And then again, we also find a lot of couples asking friends in groups, whereby like if it's in the office and you want a fridge, then you can talk to all the office colleagues and tell them, why don't you get me a fridge, as opposed to buying small items in bits. So we have that, and I think it's a good way to go. It's a good
It is for me, and I think the biggest thing with that one is the fact that the couples have a say in what they could potentially get from their guests. Yes.
And also I think it doesn't just end on at the registry. As planners, you do even the gift management, because once it's come, the couple may be leaving that evening. So who takes care? We've had where boxes have gotten lost, and we've also had where gifts have been mischanged at some point. So it doesn't just end at the registry shop. There are some who may not go to the shop, but they will still buy something and bring it. They want to show this is what we have brought. Who manages that? And also I think after that, there's also a way of having a registry and also a guest book, so that you're able to say, this person came, because our work doesn't end when the wedding. It's also post-wedding. We need to see these people came. Can you do a thank you note?
Which is big, which is good to bring that out, because most people don't. After the wedding, they're like, you came. Okay, fine.
And also the bride and the groom are so busy, they may not see everyone. If I have 400 people who sat at the back, or people who came early and went, but if they registered their names and they brought a gift or said the gift was at Nakumat or one of the shops, then you know what happens? As the planners, then we will tell them, these people came. I have the contacts. Then when we do the thank you notes together with them, then you're sure that at least you're saying thank you. That is one thing that brides, a good advice we can give at this show. Remember to say thank you to the committee members and also the people who come.
And it's from just this discussion, and of course there's so much we perhaps will not be able to talk about, but then that just enhances how important it is to have somebody helping with planning a wedding, because then alone you will think you have everything, and then as things go by, you're like, oops, okay, we forgot this. But with a professional, then they have been doing this, it's from experience, so they have all these things worked out. But the concern for most also would be, how much does it cost to have this professional planning my wedding? And some, that's why they'll resort to committees and saying, Mama Nani, keki, Baba Nani, transport, because we see a lot of that happening. So why and how do you encourage people to then enlist the help of an expert, so that they have a less stressful day? The day is meant to be a happy one.
I think wedding planning has been regarded in a wrong way, because people think that we don't have much that we offer, one. Then two, they feel that it's an expensive service to offer. But at Galena and the Elite Club, what we've done, we've come up with something called the Galena Bridal Clinic, whereby we offer free planning, you know, whereby we ask couples to just come in, we give them advice on their concept design, on the, you know, the budget management, negotiations, vendor selections. So basically, we've made it easier for couples to open up and come to us, because we want to really change the way weddings are done, to see creativity being used in weddings, you know. Gone are the days whereby we had a repeat wedding, because most times, Sophie, I'm sure you've seen this, most times when you go to weddings, like every weekend, then you will always find same elements. So we call it same movie, different actors, you know. Yeah, same script. So just change of color. But now we want to bring in our creativity. That's what we are all about, you know. And weddings should be lively and vibrant and elegant. So we want to bring in different themes. Like, you know, we have something we call the style shoot, and basically what we do, we have mock setup, you know, weddings. So we have like an eco-chic. Like there's a time we had an eco-chic wedding, and we had hay for the seats, we had pumpkins for the decor, you know. We had instead of having a veil, we had a big leaf for the bride. You know, we had a polka style shoot the other day. Instead of the parents walking down the bride, we had a puppy walking down the bride, you know. It was so nice. So we want all these clients to be able to embrace that, whereby they come, then we actually like translate their personality. If you love football, why don't you do your wedding at a football, you know, stadium? Yeah, and then have the pastor dress like a referee, you know?
Now that's cool. Yeah. That's a wedding you'll never forget.
Yeah, exactly. So let them come. We at Galena are very ready to serve them. Let them come. We have the clinic. It's every Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 3, and we offer a free advice to them.
I like that you bring that out, because I think, as you said, most weddings have become same script, different cast. It's just the pips, the faces are changing. But in terms of you come, you'll find the same old. But that is interesting, that if we embrace more of personality and take the risks and we go all out in terms of what we decide to have for the wedding.
Like Sophie, did you know that we have breakfast weddings, which we don't see in Kenya?
Breakfast weddings?
Yeah, whereby you will come, we serve you with breakfast, cereals and samosas, you know, and that for the wedding reception. We have cocktail weddings, we have dinner weddings, whereby you have your ceremony probably at 5:30 to 6, have a break, at 7 people gather and, you know, have a really nice breakfast, dinner. We also have getaway weddings, whereby you have like a 3-day wedding away, whereby like the first day they can, you know, you have your guest in the venue, you have your cocktails. The second day you probably do a rehearsal dinner. Then the third day you do your wedding, and you can have it, you know, away probably in Sagana, have some polo games or activities for your guests, so that it's two families getting together. Make it fun. Make it a bonding time, you know.
A time to remember. I want us to bring this to a close, but we've talked a lot about the couple and what they need to do. But I want us to touch very quickly, Carol, on the guests as they come. I find very many people will complain about, you know, even just how guys will dress to a wedding. Jeans and a t-shirt, or just, you know, and also wearing white, which we know that should be preserved for the bride. So just for the guests, and in terms of just etiquette and good manners, and being part of that, celebrating whoever's, whether it's your relative or friend's wedding, how to conduct ourselves as the guests. Yes,
I think that is such a good topic, which is never discussed. Everybody just, I think even the bride and their team don't think of that. They just say, we have done our invite. But as a guest coming to a function, there are just a few things. One thing I think which is one of my worst enemies, complaining. When you're coming, you're attending a function, just be happy. They'll start saying, that one didn't dress well, didn't do this, and that brings a lot of pressure. Just be happy on that day. Number one rule, enjoy the day. And when there's joy in the function, everybody will be happy. 2 is on your dress code. It's respect. If you're walking, just the same way if you're walking into our office, you can't just walk in. If you're walking into, just try to be decently dressed. And There's something which I see a lot in communities. When they know the color is purple, everybody puts some purple.
Yeah.
I don't think that is very nice because it blocks the beauty of the team.
Yeah.
Just find something that is decent. Yeah. And also, I think also that...
So when they say the theme is purple, doesn't mean everybody. Purple.
No.
Right?
The distinction is quite off.
Okay.
Yeah, you can pick a bit of the shades, but just try to be off and let the distinction for this team be seen.
Okay.
Number 3 on the part of food.
Yeah.
I see people running and fighting over it doesn't give a good picture.
Yes.
The video man will not block that, and then it doesn't look very nice. When you come to an event, if it's said line up on this queue, just be calm enough and line up. Don't fight for that food. And everybody support the bride and the groom.
Okay. And give us your closing remarks when it comes to wedding planning. What the couple, because at the end of the day, it's them. It boils down to them. These 2 people who want to get married. What really you think is important and key that they keep in mind as they've gotten engaged and are planning to go and walk down the aisle?
Wedding planning is not expensive, as people think. It is something that when you need a planner, whether you have budget or you don't have, you need an extra hand.
Right.
And that is what we are. The extra hand that will support. And if you walk into our offices, we will never say we will send you away because you don't have a budget. We will find a workable. Don't take it from out there that wedding planning is expensive.
It's expensive.
It is very manageable and affordable.
Finally, Diana.
What I can advise the couples is to enjoy and let it be their day. You know, most times we find a lot of people controlling the couple's wedding, whereby we have like parents who have a lot of they have a lot of input that it feels more like control. You also have the committee, just for the mere fact that you're giving money doesn't mean that now you plan your wedding with let the couple enjoy, let them know it's their day. Let them plan what they want, because it's a day to remember, and it's marriage for the two.
It's for the two.
It's for the two. It's never for the mother and father, or the friend who gave so much money. So I believe it's the day, so let them just enjoy.
And I also think when they're just able to prepare and have their money and prepare enough in terms of the financial bit, so they're not getting too much from outside, then other people feel like it's their wedding and they have a say, then it's easier for them to be able to have more say in the wedding. Thank you very much, Diana Nekesa, Managing Director, Galena International, and Carol Odande for being part of our discussion this morning. I will cut. Can I have my apple?
Yes, you can.
As we get into our movie review, we have a movie review for you, so take a look as I get into my apple. Cut into it.